Hey everybody, Dan here with The Wealth Instinct. I wanted to share with you my article on don't let a lack of knowledge stop you from starting a business. First, if you could subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon, I'd really appreciate that. So, uh, what happens to a lot of people, I think, is that we want to start a business, but we feel like we have to learn everything. We need to master business. And so I remember even thinking like, I need to get an MBA. Before I can start a business, I need an MBA. And what I slowly realized was that um, most people who get an MBA end up getting a new job. It's not about starting a business. Um, and what I decided instead is that instead of you know investing $100,000 and going to school for 2 or 3 years to get an MBA, why not invest money and start a business and just get a practical MBA, like we're actually running a business. Um, and the thing is, I think we tend to get into this trap of thinking that we have to learn everything, and and really you just need to have enough information to make good decisions and to take the next step. And I share the story here of band U2, and I remember Bono saying, we were a band before we knew how to play our instruments, right? Like they already decided what they wanted. Like they knew that they wanted this end result. It's not like they were all musicians and they're like, hey, maybe we should start a band. It's like, no, they were passionate and they said, we have no idea how to play, but this is what we want. Let's do it, right? And so that's kind of like what you need, right? Like you need to decide, like, if you want a business, focus more on the end result you're looking for, and then start taking the actions to get it, right? And really, it's really all about taking action, but also learning from your mistakes, right? Like we have this saying, we like to say that knowledge is power, and knowledge is only power when there's a lack of knowledge, and adding the knowledge gives you access to the information you need to make a decision or take your next step, right? We actually have the opposite problem now where we have too much knowledge, right? Like if you want to start an online business and you go search, you actually get so much information that you end up having to spend all this time filtering through it and figuring out, like, okay, well, which business should it be, and should I take a course, and which one should I take, and where do I start? And it becomes overwhelming, and it actually holds you back. And so um, it really depends on your needs, right? And I share this little story here about, like, the value of information depends on your situation, right? Like if you need to get your car fixed, you know, a book on car repair has more information than you need, but it's not that helpful, right? Um, it's a ton of information, but it's not going to help you, right? Like starting a business, an MBA has a ton of information, but it's not going to help you take that next step. Or the business section in the library, right? It has way more information than is useful to you, right? You need some very actionable information that's going to help you take the next step. And so that's why you have to learn how to filter through the noise. And um, this is something that um, you don't have to do entirely yourself, right? Like other people have gotten the result that you're trying to get, right? And and you can learn from their mistakes. That's what's so amazing about learning about other people and their story. It's like, I think of the analogy of like a mountain, and you've got this mountain that's got all these natural resources in it. Well, do you want the mountain and have to dig through and sift through and find, all the natural resources that you want, or do you want someone that's already gone through and filtered through it all and gotten the valuable bits that you can actually use, right? So the most important thing is that you don't need to know everything. Um, you just need to know some basic things, right? And because if you think about it, there's way too much to know. Like it's just, there's so many options, there's so many things. Like even people that are really successful have not mastered all of business. Like they haven't mastered all of online business. They've mastered a few things that have allowed them to be successful, right? Like the most, if your knowledge is too broad, it really limits your success. You got to have a more specific knowledge, and it's just in time knowledge, right? Like you've got to figure out, there's this distinction between just in time versus just in case. Um, like I might need to know this. Let me learn this. Well, that's like trivial knowledge. It's knowledge that's not going to help you get what you want, right? What you want to say is, okay, I need a business. I need a business entity. Okay, well, who can help me figure out what entity and let me figure out the right one, and then let me figure out how to create that entity. And then once I've completed that step, now I can move to the next step, right? Like, so you might want to be an LLC, you might want to be C Corp, S Corp, sole proprietor. So when you're ready, you find someone or some knowledge base to help you make that decision. Usually you might want to consult a professional who specializes in that. And within an hour conversation, they can, ask you exactly who you are, what you're trying to do, and they can give you an informed decision or help you inform your decision about what you should do. And then you can take those specific steps and get the result you need, right? And then you go to the next step, right? Like you need to know the name of your business, right? Or maybe you need to buy a domain name. So you need to learn, well, how do I do that? Right? And then you get that specific knowledge, you take that step. Then you need to create your logo. It's like, okay, well, who can do that for me? Well, hey, look, there's Fiverr, right? Like there's someone who can do this for me. It's not that expensive. And so you basically figure out what you need to do, get the knowledge, take the step. Figure out what you need to do, get the knowledge, take the step. And it's just an incremental process. Instead of trying to get all the information at once, you're getting the information you need to take the next step. And that's I think a better way to go than trying to learn everything before you get started. And really the best thing you can do is find someone that's been successful, right? Like, if you want to be Oprah Winfrey, do what Oprah Winfrey did. Like if you're trying to be like Tony Robbins, look at what Tony Robbins did. If you're trying to be like Jeff Bezos or and obviously these people are huge icons, but there's other people that are very successful that are not household names who have really great businesses and success that you can emulate, and you can learn about what they did and learn about what's best for you. And so I started off basically saying, okay, well, who's living the lifestyle I want to live? And I found about a dozen people through different interviews and just learned about who they are and what they did. And kind of my first filter was like, I like that guy or I like that woman. Like, I like what she's saying. I like how they do things. And then just by following them, by reading their work, by going through their training, um, it gave me more insights. And then I filtered down a little more. And and you want to make sure that you go through that process of filtering, um, because you can't. What's that expression? If you chase three chickens, you catch none. I don't know. But ultimately, the mentor that I've been working with quite a bit for a while now is Jeff Lerner, and what his approach really resonated with me because he's all about like his physical, personal, and professional, and that's something that I totally agree with because for me, if your physical health isn't there, it's really hard to have the energy and vitality to work on your relationships and really hard to work on your professional skills and your business. And 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 if you're not working on your relationships, it's really hard to have a good business. And this is something I think that everyone struggles with, but we're communal creatures and business is all about relationships. So, if you're not improving your relationships, you'll be able to do well in some areas, but you're gonna hit some stopping points and get stuck. And then professional skills, right? Like if you want to succeed in business today, I really believe you have to be online. Like I don't think that's even debatable. Um, even if you have a brick and mortar location, you've got to have a strong social media presence. And really, the barriers to entry are much higher in retail and brick and mortar. So it kind of just makes a lot more sense to be online. And so you want to find someone who's having success in that area. And Jeff's program really, really, he kind of encapsulates the whole online space and helps you focus on the best areas to pursue and figure out what's best for you. And I find his training really, really valuable and actionable, to really help you get the information you need to take the next step you need to take to get the result you want to take, and also creating a community that supports that. So I um, really have found a lot of value in them, and I really suggest you check them out. You can click on the link and let me know what you think. If you found this article valuable, I'd love to hear your comments. If you have other questions, I'd love to answer those. Thank you so much for watching, and we will talk soon.